Hello, welcome to the Healthcare Facilities Network. I'm your host, Peter Martin, the president of Gosselin Martin Associates. A quick video today. I'm going to try to keep it to less than 3 minutes, so let's see how I do. One of the goals here at the Healthcare Facilities Network is to promote the opportunity, and we do a lot of longer form conversations, and I know that sometimes it's hard to watch an entire episode. So what I've done in this particular video, we've talked a lot about internships, and I'm going to do this a little more frequently going forward, this type of a format. We've talked a lot about internships through numerous episodes on the Healthcare Facilities Network. And so what I wanted to do, and I'm going to share it with you now, the top things we've learned about internships through the course of our episode. So with that, I present 5 things we learned. And today's episode is Internship Success. Now, you can read the screen. I do not need to read it for you. But a couple of things I want to point out. We've done 2 episodes with a healthcare facilities management intern with a gentleman, a junior to be, Aiden Cornell. You can find everything I talk about actually on the next slide where I link to these episodes on the Healthcare Facilities Network. But Aiden, we did a postmortem episode with him. I thought he said something which was really insightful and simple, and we have it there, number 2. He said to me, knowing what goes on makes it easier to stick with it. Meaning, you get in the opportunity, I see what goes on, easier to stick with it. So on this slide, just a couple of things to point out. Number 1, college professors aren't talking to their students about these roles. So that means we, as the collective industry, need to push the internships, because if we don't, nobody else will. Number 2, and in talking to our folks at the Mass Maritime Academy, healthcare needs to be prepared to pay a competitive salary for these interns. Healthcare hospitals lose interns because they are not willing to pay what is competitive. If we want to fill that pipeline with younger kids, then we've got to bring them in at a competitive salary. And then I think the third thing is a diversity of experience. I've heard of some interns who come into an organization and they may only be on compliance documentation, Joint Commission documentation. And while that's very important, providing them a global view of the opportunity works better. And the last thing, and probably the most important, and it's the bonus down at the bottom, for every 1 intern you bring in, they're going to go back to their college and they're going to tell 10, 15 of their friends. Aiden talked about it in the episode we just did. Ryan Gagnon talked about it in an episode we did. If you bring them in early, they become the best mouthpiece for this role, better than anything we can do, because they're going to go back to their colleges, they're going to go back to their universities, and they're going to talk about the great experience that they had. So you can find additional learning on the Healthcare Facilities Network. We've done a number of intern stories. So I wanted to provide those 5 things, and as I was putting it together, I'm thinking to myself, there's not a bombshell on here, right? So often we try to come up, or maybe we think a little bit more complex than we need to. These 5 things are very simple. We can all do them. So there's no bombshell here, but it's kind of like in baseball. Often somebody's looking to hit the grand slam, when if you just put singles, 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 and maybe an occasional double, you'll score runs too. That's what this approach is. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this informative. And if you want to reach out to me, please feel free. My email was on that last slide, excuse me. Peter Martin for the Healthcare Facilities Network. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for clicking on.